so like everyone's feeling it right. Trying to stay up to date with AI, cloud, software, all that, and it's just a constant flood of information.
Oh, yeah, I feel that. It can be overwhelming.
Totally. So what if there was a way to like cut through the noise and just get right to the important stuff?
Yeah, that would be amazing. A curated version.
That's what we're doing today, a deep dive into the very first edition of a new newsletter called Beyond the Code with Prateek. It's like your cheat sheet for what's actually happening in these fields that are changing so fast.
Precisely. We've got this inaugural newsletter right here, and let me tell you, it's packed. Our job is to break it down for you, the listener, so you can walk away feeling like you really got the key takeaways.
And who's the author behind Beyond the Code?
That would be Prateek Singh.
Yeah, he's a 5-time author.
5 times. That's impressive.
And here's a cool fact. He wrote the very first book ever on the Windows subsystem for Linux. Talk about tech tread.
That's huge. I mean, that's a pretty specific niche.
Right. He's also written on PowerShell and Python and contributed to courses on educative.io. Before all this, he was a staff software engineer at LinkedIn.
So he's got the real-world experience to back it up.
Totally. And what really stands out to me about Prateek is his passion for building things from the ground up.
Absolutely.
From scratch.
Yeah. And always with the user in mind. Like, how is this going to help people?
User-centric design all the way.
It's a good approach.
Very important. And it's not like he's new to this whole sharing knowledge thing. Prateek has a ton of experience. He's written over 250 articles for his own tech blog and sites like 4CSOPs, IP Switch, Tech Target.
Wow, 250. That's a lot of writing.
Right. We're talking PowerShell, Python, Azure, AWS, Kubernetes, you name it. Helping engineers navigate these complex areas.
I see we already got a following.
Oh, yeah. Fun fact. His old blog, ridiculous.com, was ranked one of the top 50 PowerShell blogs in the world a few years back. And he's contributed to open source projects on GitHub that have over 2,000 stars.
Okay, so this is someone who is really embedded in the tech world.
Deeply. So our mission today is to unpack the main themes from this first edition of Beyond the Code.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, great. The first section is titled, Hello World, Why This Newsletter? It seems like Prateek's kind of sharing his personal motivation for starting it.
I like that. Starting with the why. Always a good place to begin.
Yeah. So after a successful run at LinkedIn, Prateek decided to pursue his own ambitions. And this newsletter, as he describes it, is a way to share his own insights, the challenges he's facing, what he's learning.
So it's more personal than like a typical corporate blog post.
Much more. It's like we're getting a glimpse behind the scenes.
Interesting. And I think that's valuable, hearing directly from someone who's been there and done that.
Right. And he keeps coming back to this idea of building things from scratch and making the user experience amazing.
Right, right. That user-centric approach.
It's clear he wants to connect with others who are just as curious about AI, cloud, software, all of it. It feels like he's trying to create a community around these topics.
I like that. I'm all for building community, especially in tech. It can get lonely out there sometimes.
Totally. Okay, moving on to what I learned this week. He jumps into Neo4j plus LLM equals graph rags. So what's the deal with Neo4j?
Well, he starts by talking about graph databases. You know, we're all familiar with relational databases, those structured tables, but when you're dealing with highly connected data, social networks, recommendation engines, fraud detection,
When it's all linked together in a complicated way?
Yeah, exactly. Those traditional relational databases can really struggle.
Makes sense. All those relationships become a bottleneck.
It's just not what they were built for. With highly connected data, the connections themselves are the crucial information.
So that's where graph databases come in.
That's where they shine. They're specifically designed to handle those complex relationships efficiently. The links between data points are not just secondary. They're central to how the database works.
Got it. And that leads us to Neo4j.
Yeah, it sounds like someone named Kunal Kendekar actually recommended Neo4j to Prateek. And he was impressed by how easy it was to get started. He mentions Neo4j Desktop, which lets you run it locally and start experimenting right away.
Oh, that's cool. So if our listeners are wrestling with those highly connected data challenges, Neo4j sounds like it's worth checking out.
Absolutely. And he even highlights 2 courses for people who want to learn more. One is Neo4j Fundamentals, which covers the basics and the cipher query language. That's like the sequel of graph databases.
A special language just for asking questions about how things are connected.
Right. And the second course is Neo4j and LLM fundamentals, which gets into using Neo4j with large language models, something called RAG retrieval augmented generation.
Okay, so RAG helps make sure the AI's answers are grounded in real-world data, not just making stuff up.
Exactly. Grounding the AI in facts, not just its training data. And the course also covers things like prompt engineering. It sounds like a powerful combination for building really intelligent apps.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, let's move on to the research papers section. He goes deep on chain of thought, Coty, and tree of thoughts, prompting.
Ooh, prompting. This is a hot topic.
It is, but for those of us who aren't AI experts, what exactly is prompting?
Good question. It's basically how you talk to a large language model, like ChatGPT or Bard, how you phrase your questions, what instructions you give. It all impacts what kind of response you'll get.
So it's like asking the right question is just as important as getting the answer.
Exactly. And Coty and Toti are clever ways to structure those prompts to get more insightful and accurate answers.
I'm intrigued. Let's start with chain of thought. Coty.
All right. So Prateek describes it as a really simple but effective way to make AI think step by step.
Like humans do, right? We break down a problem into smaller parts.
Exactly. Instead of asking for a straight-up answer, you prompt the AI to show its work.
Okay, I like that. Show its work. So instead of what is 23 times 47, you'd say something like, first, what's 20 times 47? Then, what's 3 times 47? Now, add those together.
Perfect example. The point isn't just the final number, it's the process the AI uses to get there. You're encouraging it to be more logical, more transparent.
And that helps reduce those random, nonsensical answers AI sometimes gives, right? The hallucinations.
Exactly. Hallucinations. That's a good way to put it. So Coty is about guiding the AI to think more like a human would. Now, Tree of Thoughts, Toti, takes this to another level.
So instead of just A to B to C, it's more like a tree with branches, exploring lots of possibilities at once.
That's a great analogy. With Toti, the AI can explore multiple solutions at the same time.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it can even backtrack if a path isn't working, and it can plan ahead strategically. It's a more complex way of thinking.
What are the benefits of that?
Well, Prateek says it makes the AI less prone to those hallucinations and much better at complex reasoning. Imagine going from a simple checklist to a whole decision tree.
So how does TOT work in practice? What kind of prompts are involved?
There are two main types. Proposed prompts encourage the AI to come up with multiple solutions, like brainstorming. Then you have value prompts, which evaluate those solutions and help the AI pick the best ones.
So the AI isn't just throwing out random ideas, it's actually judging them.
Exactly. It's got a built-in quality control system. And Prateek highlights some really impressive results achieved with TOT.
Oh, like what?
Well, in the game of 24, which is this math puzzle, GPT-4 success rate went from just 4% to a whopping 74% using TOT. He also mentions improvements in creative writing, with the AI producing more coherent stories, and better puzzle solving, where the AI could try out different answers before finding the right one.
Wow, those are big gains.
They really are. So it seems like the future of prompting is moving away from that linear chain of thought to this more sophisticated tree of thoughts framework. It's all about getting AI to reason more logically and accurately.
Fascinating. Okay, the next section is Tech Trends You Can't Ignore, and it focuses on Model Context Protocol, MCP, and MCP servers. I'm getting a sense this is about AI connecting with the real world.
It is. It's like giving AI a passport. So imagine MCP as a universal translator for AI models, or as Prateek calls it, a universal plug. It's this open source standard that allows AI systems like chatbots and language processing tools to securely connect with external tools and data sources.
So instead of just using its own internal knowledge, it can tap into anything out there on the internet.
Exactly. Files, databases, search engines, even other applications. It's a way to break AI out of its isolated box.
That's huge. And the MCP server is what makes this magic happen.
It's the behind-the-scenes workhorse, a lightweight piece of software often written in Python or TypeScript. It handles all the technical details of fetching information or running commands, leaving the AI free to focus on understanding the user and crafting a good response.
So the AI delegates the tasks, and the server takes care of the execution.
Exactly. Prateek gives an example of an MCP server being used to order groceries from Amazon fresh using Anthropic's Claude. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's a real-world application.
Yeah.
No more just talking. The AI is actually doing stuff.
And the beauty of MCP is that it creates this standardized way for AI to interact with the world. It could make things so much simpler and more efficient.
No more custom integrations for every single tool or data source.
I like that. It's a game changer. And for those who want to dig deeper, Prateek lists some great resources, a quick video, a developer guide, some open source projects on GitHub.
Awesome. We'll definitely link to those in the show notes.
Okay, on to the short read section. This one is a really intriguing title. AI replaced 90% of our skills, but amplified the remaining 10%.
This is the heart of the matter, right? The fear, the excitement, everything about AI's impact on us humans.
Yeah, it's the big question. Are we becoming obsolete?
So many people are worried about AI taking over jobs, even saying coding is dead. What's Prateek's take on this?
He acknowledges the reality. AI is already doing things like writing, coding, designing, analyzing data faster and better than most of us, so there's no denying things are changing rapidly.
But he doesn't think we're doomed.
Not at all. His argument is that the nature of competition is just evolving. He says that an average writer who knows how to use AI can now produce work that's as good as the best human writers.
Interesting. This is like AI levels the playing field in a way.
In a way, yes. And the same applies to coding, strategy, pretty much any field. If you can integrate AI into your workflow, you become more powerful.
AI is a multiplier. I like that.
Exactly. So instead of just doing the work, we need to focus on orchestrating the work, using AI as our tool.
Makes sense. But what about the skills that are uniquely human, the ones AI can't replicate?
Prateek lists a few. Original thinking is key. AI can remix and adapt, but true creativity still comes from us. Then there's judgment and taste. AI can generate a ton of output, but we need to decide what's actually valuable and aligned with our goals.
So being a good curator, a good editor, becomes even more important.
For sure. He also mentions strategy and decision-making. AI can provide data, but we need to interpret it and make the big calls. And of course, relationships and trust. That human connection is irreplaceable.
Those are all important. Anything else?
He highlights storytelling and persuasion. AI can write text, but it's humans who can craft compelling narratives that move people to action.
So it's not humans versus AI. It's humans with AI versus those who don't adapt.
Precisely. His message is, embrace AI or get left behind. Don't fear it, learn to use it.
Empowering stuff. Okay, the final section is a bit different. It's about the sunk cost fallacy. This is getting into psychology now.
A little bit. So Prateek defines the sunk cost fallacy as this mental trap, where we make decisions based on past investments, whether it's time, money, or effort, instead of what's best for us going forward.
Oh yeah, I think we've all been there. Like staying in a job or a relationship way too long because we've already put so much into it.
Exactly. We don't want to admit we made a mistake or that our efforts were wasted.
So even though it's not working, we keep pushing, hoping things will magically change.
The classic definition of insanity. Prateek even shares a personal story about how this fallacy kept him at LinkedIn longer than he wanted to be there. He felt like he couldn't just throw away all those years of hard work.
It's easy to get stuck in that mindset. He uses a great analogy about a beat-up old suitcase that's heavy and hard to carry, but we can't seem to let go of it.
Such a good analogy. I think we all have a few of those suitcases in our lives.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But his point is, holding on to the past prevents you from creating the future you want. Sometimes you have to cut your losses and move on.
It can be scary, though, leaving behind something familiar.
He talks about feeling both terrified and liberated when he finally made the decision to leave.
It's a mix of emotions. He decided to stop counting the years and focus on building a future with more time, more peace, more freedom.
It's a powerful reminder to let go of the past and make choices based on where you want to go, not where you've been.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the first edition of Beyond the Code with Prateek, it's clear he's covered a lot of ground. We've talked about everything from graph databases to AI prompting, the evolving role of human skills in the age of AI, and even cognitive biases that can hold us back.
What are some of the big takeaways for you?
Well, I think the combination of Neo4j and LLMs, creating those graph arrays, that's really exciting. The potential for building intelligent applications that can reason about highly connected data.
That's a big one.
Yeah, and the advancements in prompting techniques like 2T are just mind-blowing. It feels like we're unlocking a whole new level of AI capabilities.
Definitely. It's not just about generating text anymore. It's about teaching AI to think.
Exactly. And the Model Context Protocol giving AI access to the real world, that's a game changer.
Absolutely. AI is not just a digital thing anymore. It's becoming a part of our physical world.
And I think Prateek's point about how AI amplifies certain human skills is crucial. It's not about replacement, it's about augmentation. We need to adapt and evolve.
Embrace the tools.
and become the conductors, not just the musicians.
Beautifully put.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, what resonated most with you?
Yeah. Which topic sparked your curiosity? Do you see opportunities to apply these concepts in your own work?
If any of this has piqued your interest, we highly recommend checking out Beyond the Code with Prateek on Substack. You can subscribe and get future editions delivered right to your inbox.
It's a great way to stay ahead of the curve in these rapidly changing fields.
Absolutely.
Right?
And as we close, here's a final thought. As AI continues to evolve at this breakneck pace, how will you harness its power while also cultivating those uniquely human skills that remain so valuable?
And what are those heavy suitcases in your life?
The things you might need to let go of in order to move forward and create the future you truly desire.
Think about it.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Until next time.